Alan Dershowitz comments on both New York prosecutor Alvin Bragg and George Soros.
The author of Get Trump. Welcome back to the program. Professor Dershowitz, you said earlier before that if one of your students had put this together and tried to file this as a case, take this misdemeanor, mix in some whatever campaign stuff and file it as a felony, you'd give him an F, huh?
Well, I would tell him to seek another profession. Worse, I would say, with that kind of approach, you should not be a member of the bar. You're not supposed to be, if you're a prosecutor, creative. You're not supposed to be making up crimes. You're supposed to look at the statute book clearly and find out whether a crime has been committed and then find out who did it. What happened here is Get Trump. They determined, both the Attorney General of New York and the District Attorney of Manhattan, to get Trump whatever it takes, violate the Constitution, violate the law, create a misdemeanor out of whole cloth, turn the misdemeanor into felony by citing federal law. And as long as you can get Trump, you know you'll get reelected. This is the worst kind of prosecutorial abuse. I hate to make analogies to the Soviet Union, but it's very similar to what the head of the KGB said to Stalin. Show me the man, and I'll find you the crime. You know, even the Bible, it has two instructions to law enforcement people. Don't take bribes and don't recognize faces. Lo takir panim in the original Hebrew. Do not recognize faces. Do not do justice based on who you're going after. That's why we have the blindfold over the statue of justice. Bragg does not have a blindfold. Bragg has peeked beneath the blindfold. Ah, it's Donald Trump. Now let's go through all the statutes, all the case books. Let's see if we can pin something on him. Justice Jackson, the former Attorney General of the United States, said that any prosecutor, a dishonest, unethical prosecutor, could rummage through the statute books and come up with something against virtually anyone. So this is not about Donald Trump. I'm not voting for Donald Trump. I have a constitutional right to vote against him for the third time. That shouldn't be interfered with by any prosecutor. This is about you and me. This is about your Uncle Charlie. This is about your daughter-in-law. This is about prosecutors being able to go after anybody. And it doesn't matter if you're a liberal, conservative, Democrat, or Republican. My biggest disappointment is with civil libertarians, people who claim they believe in the Constitution, remaining silent in the face of this horrible injustice.
Yep, Professor Dershowitz, you know, Emperor Palpatine, as I call him, George Soros. A lot of people are seeing that maybe he's found a vulnerability in these DAs. He's been backing these district attorneys, but that the Constitution should be able to stand up to somebody like Emperor Palpatine. There are checks and balances in our system, Professor. So tell me, what is the check for a guy like Alvin Bragg?
Well, there is none if there's a Democratic governor, because New York doesn't have what California had, which is a recall possibly, and there is a governor who won't do anything about it. I want to make one point about George Soros, because a lot of people are saying, oh, anybody who picks on George Soros is an anti-Semite. Well, let me tell you, I'm a proud, deeply committed Jew and Zionist, and I think that what Soros is doing, distorting civil liberties, distorting human rights, is outrageous. And I want to be the first to attack George Soros. I'm not attacking him because he's Jewish. I'm attacking him because what he's doing is wrong. He's not much of a Jew, first of all. I mean, as you know, he worked and collaborated with Nazis in his native country when he was a young kid. He has been the most virulently anti-Israel billionaire out there. So please, everybody, feel free to tell the truth about George Soros. Don't worry about false charges that it's anti-Semitic. There may be some people in Hungary and in Eastern Europe that are using George Soros like other names to raise anti-Semitism, but that's not the case in America. George Soros is an American, and we Americans, whether we're Jewish, Christian, Muslim, have the right to attack him on the merits. So don't be fearful of the charge of anti-Semitism when you're going after Soros on the merits.
Wow. Well, Professor, I think I want to go back to how you initially answered that question, that we have no defense against the Alvin Braggs of America. I think that should be job one for the American people. We've got to make sure we have a defense against these people. Thank you very much.
This is a violation of law, and Our Constitution.